Bill has offered to show a small little idea of his work. His book he's writing, I can't tell you how significant I think it's going to be. He read me part of it just the other day, and I said, I wish all my clients could read this before we ever started. But it is on energy healing, and but some of the things in the book, I'll let him tell you. But we were hoping for a volunteer, Carolyn. Maybe your cat, I don't know, but a person might be better today.
Yeah,
but
Carolyn's a little sensitive. It'd be like walking into the. Well,
my cat, yes. I'll volunteer my cat.
Yeah, but might show an example of some of the things he talks about and does in his practice, actually.
Yeah, actually, I think that I will best connect today with Veronique. And a little bit of explanation is, I think, worthwhile. About 2001, I was introduced to a very talented healer, and she taught me some techniques as part of an experiment at the Human Bioenergetics Laboratory at the University of Arizona Medical School. And that opened the doorway to a new type of treatment for me as a physician, where I started to treat patients. I very quickly learned that although you can teach somebody, you can treat somebody, what it really boils down to is teaching someone how to manipulate what I consider an indescribable force that is best summarized in the word qi. And I don't know how many people have heard this particular term, but after a while, it took me, maybe 2 years to figure out that the Chinese and the Hindus and the Taoists, although they use different names, are referring to a universal force that is basically everything and is in everything. The Hindus call it Brahman, and the Taoists call it the Tao. My religion would pretty much, I guess, have to be forced to call it the Holy Ghost. There's a variety of names for it, but it's the same thing. And what's interesting is that we are all participating in using these various forms of qi. There is dog food, water qi, and human life force qi, earth qi, you name it, different forms. And we actually move this qi through our bodies for physical, spiritual, and emotional purposes. At one point, I started to teach people how to run qi, how to increase the flow of qi through their bodies, because most of my patients were in pretty desperate shapes and had palpable deficiencies of qi. When you run qi, you can enter into an altered state that opens extrasensory perceptions. And this became not just a matter of physical healing for me, but an introduction for my patients to emotional and spiritual healing on a level that I never thought was possible. What the real surprise turned out to be was that I was able to do this at a distance of several feet. Shortly thereafter, I learned out that you could do this at a distance of several hundred feet. And finally, I had an experience of 1,000 miles, and now have, with Larry, worked on people at distances greater than that. It turns out that
I can definitely feel it when you did that with me, by the way.
Oh yeah, interesting, isn't it?
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I mean, that helped me. That was actually one of the first things that like super got me back online, nervous system wise. I was like,
The
definitely.
fact
And even to
is,
this day, yeah, sorry, Andrew. I just wanted to say, to verify what
Oh,
you're
that's
saying.
okay, thank you. The fact is that Carolyn, you and I are no different. And we are existing on a plane at some level where we are not apart. We're not separate. This explains why distance healing works. In fact, it's not distance healing at all, because we're actually present in time and space with the person, and it just looks like distance healing because somebody's in Washington and you're in Colorado. It's actually you're there with them and you always have been. This took me a little while to figure out too. Very interesting. So what happens is that transmission of energy on this level is exquisitely easy, especially for individuals like Larry who don't have any expectations, have great compassion, and really drop what I would call the logic of it all. The expectation, if you will, of it having a logical explanation. So what I would like to do with Veronique is do a little demonstration of this. And basically, there's a technique that I use that I call running chi. And I help my patients run chi by basically extending it from the ground and helping them bring earth chi into their feet and lower extremities. Eventually, this makes its way into their abdomen. This acquaints them with the sensory that's associated with a particular type of chi that I call boundary chi, chi that you can feel. There are other forms of chi that exist beyond this boundary, but the one that is helpful for people to learn first is earth chi. So right now, I want Veronique to go ahead and put her feet flat on the floor. If you want to take off your shoes, that would be fine. I didn't hear you, Veronique.
I'm so sorry. I just unmuted myself. I'm feeling the floor, no shoes on.
Okay. So right now I'm going to not travel, but be in the same space that you're in. And in a second, you should start to feel what I typically feel, or another sensation that's somehow different than your ordinary sensation in your feet. You are just about above your ankles right now. Are you feeling that?
You know, it's very strange, but I'm feeling like I'm feeling it in the hands. I'm feeling like pins and needles a little bit in the hand, but it's very strange.
That's okay. Location is not important unless you're buying real estate.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And so what you're feeling in your hands, I want you to identify and separate from your other sensations. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that sensation from the ground through your legs and into your abdomen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you feeling that then?
Yeah.
Okay, in just a second, we're going to change the way that the majority of this chi, this energy, is going to run through your body. Right now, you're examining the chi mentally. This pulls the chi in one of the lower chakras called the third chakra. I just saw earlier your dog walk by. It's nice to work with people who have pets because pets are sources of unconditional love. The chakra above the third chakra, which is our mind, is the chakra that deals with unconditional love. It's a processing center. And I want you to imagine your puppy dog with you right now and experience that unconditional love that comes from that animal. And just connect with that. Are you starting to feel that tingling on the top of your head?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm
So-
also feeling like tears coming out of my eyes.
Okay, wonderful. So Veronique is experiencing an increased sensory for a certain type of chi that is transformed from earth chi into human bioenergetic chi and eventually makes its way to the crown chakra, which causes a tingling sensation on the head. About 20 years ago, I was lucky enough to feel that for the first time. And basically, that is the friction that's occurring as you're taking in energetics through your spiritual chakra. Now all you have to do is transition into what for you will be an altered state of consciousness. We spend most of our times in a state that I call beta, because it corresponds to an electroencephalographic reading that has beta frequency that is more or less the fight or flight response. Every day when you go to sleep, you go into alpha. And that's that relaxed state right before you go to sleep. And it's an altered state for us in the waking state because we usually don't spend any time in alpha walking around doing our regular stuff. So if you keep pulling the energy in, eventually it will fill your energy field, and your field will be able to look around you and recognize on an energetic sense that there's no current threat within striking distance. So keep pulling that energy through your feet as if you were on soft sand or quicksand and your feet were sinking down into the ground. Keep pulling that in. And in just a second, because we're now connected, I'm going to transition from the fight or flight state into the relaxation response or alpha state. And it feels like this. There you go, Veronique, did you feel that? What did you feel?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to find the words. It's just a place of well-being. It just feels good. It's just like very simple and just, you know, like people call it here, that pretty place. It's just a pretty place. It feels simple and good.
This is for you the natural state. There is no reason for you to leave this ever again, unless you're going to kick somebody's ass or run away. At which point I would highly recommend the fight or flight response. But this is a superior state that's available to everybody. And
wow.
what happens with my patients is when they go into this state, they start to have extraordinary experiences. They develop paranormal abilities for them and abilities that on a societal scale would be regarded as paranormal as well. It turns out that everybody's psychic, not everybody's paying attention. This is really an interesting phenomenon to introduce somebody to their psychic abilities for the first time, who've never really had them before. It's very natural, and a lot of people freak out thinking that they're dealing with something new. This is a sensory that's always present, and it's what we focus on that counts. So if we focus on the negative, the pain, the stuff that around us that hurts and causes dysfunction, we go into the beta response. We try to defend ourselves. We get ready for a predator attack. In that state, we are third eye blind. Our extrasensory is not available to us anymore and is not even recognized by our conscious mind. It's a very simple system. And it's been described over and over again in multiple cultures.
More necesito.
So my gift to you today, Veronique, is very simple. It is the opportunity to stay as much as possible in this altered state of consciousness.
Hmm.
Because my explanation was a little bit incomplete for you and you didn't stay in there, when we get a chance, I'd like to work with you personally so that you can attain this and maintain it. Because it turns out that this will be important in your project. You need to be able to identify on a subtle level, an intuitional level, the needs and problems that you're about to face.
Hmm.
And this will give you the shot at doing that.
Well, I'm so grateful that you're willing to
Oh yeah, my pleasure.
bring
I do
me
it every
there.
day.
It's
Yeah, I don't get
amazing.
paid for it because you can't code it. There's no code for the insurance company. I looked, they don't even have one. For relaxation, there's no code for relaxation in the medical literature. It's bizarre.
Right.
So I get to do it on the side for free.
I'm so grateful. This is an amazing feeling. And I recognize when I work with Larry that he brings me there, and he has that amazing capacity of getting you there. I don't know how he does it, but he gets you to that pretty place. It's amazing. I wish you all to be able to get there. It's amazing.
They do.
Can I say something?
Please.
Mhm.
Okay. When I first met Dr. Bill, he ran this energy through my body and we are long distance. And it was for me like an experiment because I didn't know I could say this, but I am psychic medium and I can speak to spirit. So when Dr. Bill showed me this and it was just in that state of alpha, because I will stay in beta. I've had a lot of experiences in my life where it's fight or flight mode. So when Dr. Bill showed this to me a couple of weeks back when we first met, I was amazed. So just the fact that now he's re-explaining this and I understand it, seeing it, being activated in somebody else is very cool for me. Because when I experienced it, I was like, oh, that just feels like a really good, happy, healthy, strong place, but I don't have to fight in this place. I can just be myself and connect with my divine source or spirit or, whatever it is I'm trying to do. So me hearing it again through somebody else, it re-explained it to me. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. This is my favorite thing to do, short of eating ice cream.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Because at first I was like, oh, but now that I hear it and see it through her, I'm like, okay, I get it. So it's very cool.